This is a post about the UN. The UN was established in 1945. And of course, it was established under the guise that it was to promote international cooperation, peace, and security following the devastation of World War II. Now, here we are, this many years from World War II, 1945 to 2025, and the world just seems like a really, really horrible place, and the UN has done nothing in their supposedly position of fostering world peace. And they push that information, that lie about the UN hard. I remember because I was growing up in, when I was going to school, elementary, especially elementary school, they talked about it. They talked about it all the time. And the UN headquarters in New York City. I never got to visit the UN headquarters in New York City. But the UN headquarters in New York City is supposed to be such a great place, this bastion of world peace and harmony. I remember growing up and being taught the song Let There Be Peace on Earth. I thought that was the UN theme song. Let there be peace on earth. But the UN is not about peace. They have allowed so many acts of genocide to take place, genocide and ethnic cleansing and racial cleansing. The UN, the thing that was created to foster world peace and harmony, that was the best they could do. They couldn't do anything to stop genocide and racial cleansing. And here we are in 2025, and it's still happening, and the UN seems useless. So the word genocide came into being in 1948, 3 years after the UN had been formed. So the word genocide comes into being, but the person who invented the word wanted the word to be just to apply to one group. Even went as far as to say that black people wasn't being genocide because they were still reproducing. That's what the inventor of the word genocide said about black people. So the UN wasn't doing anything to help black people, especially not in 1951. So 48, 49, 50, 51, 3 years after the word genocide was invented, this petition came out that was presented to the UN by black people in the United States to prove that they were being genocided. And do you know what the UN did? The UN ignored it. The petition got more publicity in Europe than it got in the United States. Mainstream media certainly wasn't talking about it. But yes, we charge genocide is the petition submitted to the UN by the Negro people of the US. The subtitle of the book is The Crime of Government Against the Negro People. The crime of government against the Negro people. That means the crime of the United States government. This is what they did to their own people. And the book, documents the killings of black people. Just a white person felt like killing somebody, they just go kill. Oh, I don't do no more killing about them. Think about killing them than I would killing a dog. And it's just page after page after page. The lynchings. We also know that Ida B. Wells was in there talking about the lynchings, but the government, the U.S. government cannot do anything. The U.S. government was complicit in the murder of black people, its own citizens. And like I said, Khrushchev talked about it at the UN, how he said the United States hangs their citizens. They hang them. They murdered their own citizens. He was talking about the black killings that was being committed in the United States, and the U.S. government knew about it and did nothing. Didn't care. The UN would not hear that the U.S. was committing genocide against their own people. And they were, and they still are in 2025. What is mass incarceration if it's not a form of genocide? What is gentrification if it's not a form of genocide? What is depriving people of the basic necessity of food if it's not genocide? Not to mention medical care, medical procedures, things that could prevent death. No, black people, black women, black babies die at a way higher rate than other groups of people because it's a form of genocide. And the UN can't do anything. They were charged with genocide in 1951, and the petition went largely ignored in the US, but recognized outside of the US. And, lots of countries recognized it, saw what was going on, knew what was going on. And all of these countries outside of the US, they know that the US is mistreating their citizens, the black people. But people come from these other countries and they still harbor lots and lots of anti-black sentiment. So which is it? Do you feel like the United States is wrong, or are they right in their oppression of black people? Because people come from other places and they don't act like they on the side of black people. They're as bad as the UN. What country has openly said, oh, we stand with the black citizens, we stand with the black people of America because we know they have been more oppressed than any other group in the history of the US, if not the world? What group of people have said that? People like to act like the Irish understand struggle. No, they don't. That's a lie about Irish people that they want to perpetuate. Read how the Irish became white and you will understand what I mean. So I don't hold Irish people in no high regard because they hate black people. As does every other ethnic group, as does the US government, as does the UN. So the UN has never been a harbinger of peace in the world, not nowhere. Why has there been so many wars since the formation of the UN? If it's supposed to be a peacekeeping force in the world. A peacekeeping force in the world. And this is the best they can do in 2025. They can't do nothing to stop genocide at home or abroad. And it seems like only 2 countries benefiting from the UN, and you know who they are. I don't have to say it. So the UN has failed. The UN has failed the world. And they make no bones about it. Still, they get to operate. And even Middle Nation was talking about, people should evict the US from the UN. I don't know how you're going to do that. How is that to be done? It sounds good. And then I don't hear nothing more about it. About not letting the UN even be. And petitions have been signed to that effect. The US should not be in the UN because they don't treat their own citizens right. And it's the truth. And when I see UN, the only thing I think of is un. That means you're not doing something that you're supposed to be doing. You are useless, unhinged, uncivilized, Basically, you should be null and void.